You know, the month of May is absolutely stacked with fights. Like, we have so much good stuff coming up over the next. Like, we literally, us boxing fans in the year 2025, there's not a month where we don't have good stuff on. I mean, like, July is going to be an absolutely, bonanza month. We're hearing about a 5v5 match in Queensbury in August. We get to see, for what it's worth, Deontay Wilder back next month. There is other shows next month that I just can't think off the top of my head, but I know there is shows next month. And this month, every week we've got a fight. So this weekend, I'll leave that one till last. But we Fisher Allen next week. I might go to that one because like the Copper Box is literally a 5 minute walk from my front door. Like I can actually, if I walk out my flat, I can see it in the distance. So I might actually go to that one. That's gonna be a good fight. That's gonna be a really good scrap. The first fight was great. A week after that with Josh Taylor, and actually that's on a Saturday. And the Friday we have a GBM show. Is he as if he's doing his show? Terry Harper's fighting Maxie Hughes. Who's Maxie Hughes fighting? But he's in a decent scrap as well. Maxie, I can't remember who he's fighting though. But that's going to be in Doncaster Stadium. I think it's called the Keep Moat Stadium or something like that. So as a whole, this month is epic, and I think the pick of them is the fight I'm going to talk about here. Anthony Kakache versus Leigh Wood. Anthony Kakache will be defending, for what it's worth, his IBO Super Featherweight World title. He did vacate the IBF title. To be honest, it makes perfect sense. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. Well, I'm saying it's a good. I'm not glorifying it, but this fight is bigger than this mandatory, much bigger, and it's a fight that I'm really really keen on. On the undercard, Liam Davis, Kurt Walker. That could be a decent scrap. Ezra Taylor versus Troy Jones. Ezra Taylor is a really, really good fighter. Owen Cooper, Chris Congo, Sam Noakes is on there. And Owen Cooper, Chris Congo could be a really good fight. Chris Congo was fun to watch. Sam Noakes. I could watch Sam Noakes till the cows come home. He is so entertaining. And I've actually been to one of his press conferences live. He's a really charismatic, funny type of guy. So there's actually so much to like about Sam Noakes as a person as well. So I mean, I think this card tomorrow night looks stacked. Live on the Zone, of course, live on the Zone. If you do decide to purchase, the Zone subscription, you could use the link in the comments section, the G-Man boxing link, if you could. I'd appreciate that. But all in all, we got to look at the main event and we got to talk about this fight. Now, both guys have weighed in at 100, below the 130 pound limit, 129 pounds thereabouts. And this fight for me, it's one of those fights you look at on paper and you say it can't not be a good fight. There's only one outcome, and that's Carnage. That's all I see in this fight. And Leigh Wood has sold a lot of tickets in Nottingham just by himself alone, not just the fans who'd be coming in general, but he is going to have a massive army of fans behind him. The Belfast fans travel. They travel for their guy. We remember when Mick Conlon fought Leigh Wood in Nottingham a couple of years ago. That was the fight of the year in 2022. No ifs or buts about it. Anthony Kakache is not as... Mick Conlon back then was talented and somewhat athletic, but I always felt that he was boxing the wrong style as a pro. Adam Boot wasn't the right fit for him, etc. etc. He was trained by Manny Robles originally. I don't know why he ever left that. But it turned into a war, and it was brilliant. It was epic. It was big knockdowns, a big knockout, knocked him clean out the ring. I don't know if we're going to have that level of drama, but we are definitely going to have an absolute Hail Mary war, because Kakache is a real come forward pressure fighter. He's a big puncher. He's getting up there in age, but he's less miles on the clock than Leigh Wood. Leigh Wood, prime for prime, peak for peak. Leigh Wood should win this fight, but he's had an injury which kept him out of the ring, and he's been inactive for 18, 19 months. October 23 was the last time he fought, during which time he was injured. So that has me kind of worrying and questioning things. How much does Leigh Wood have left in the tank? He's never fought at this weight before, by the way. He's fighting at 130 pounds. He was a career featherweight, and did great work at featherweight and came from nowhere really to become a world champion, and a good world champion at that. Bear in mind, this guy was losing to Jetta Dickens in that what was it called? The Golden Contract tournament, that crowd that we won't speak about, that old managerial company that we will not darken their name, or will not mention their name, ran back in 2019, 2020. He was losing to Jetta Dickens on that. And now he's gone to become a two-time world champion, widely regarded at one stage as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in Britain. You just can't erase that. But I just wonder, have the miles on the clock caught up? If they have, well then I'm worried. but I still expect him, even if the miles are on the clock, to give an absolute account of himself and to have a war at this fight. I could see this just being tremendous. The only thing I would worry about is Leigh Wood's punch resistance. I mean, Michael Conlan dropped him very heavy and had him hurt. You know, you go back and look at that. I would recommend you watch it. It's a great fight. Conlan in round 2 hurt Leigh Wood again, and the referee, I forget who it was the night, it might have been actually Howard Foster, was really having a look. And he came through it, right? And I wonder, could you come through that against Kakache? Because in my opinion, he's a bigger puncher. He's a bigger in terms of size than Michael Conlan, and he's a much bigger puncher. So if Conlan is hurting you and nearly knocking you out, I mean, yikes. What's Kakache going to do? And he is going to go for it. He's not as talented as Conlan. He's not as cute. He's going to go for it, man. So, man, I think this is going to be an epic fight. I think Leigh Wood is going to meet him fire for fire. Leigh Wood is a tremendous puncher in his own right. I mean, knocked out Josh Warrington, Kanzu. I think that was the guy's name. Was it Kanzu or something like that? He didn't knock out Mauricio Lara. He was knocked out by Lara with one punch, and he came back to completely outbox him and drop him in the rematch. Great performance by Leigh Wood. Tremendous performance by Leigh Wood in the rematch. So much good stuff for Leigh Wood. There's so much good, and obviously the Michael Conlan knockout was devastating. So Leigh Wood, I'm not going to write him off just yet. Write him off at your peril, but I am edging towards Kakache. But all I got to say with this fight is going to be Carnage. It is absolutely going to be Carnage. And I think the title of this video should be Not for the Faint-Hearted, because it is going to be flipping amazing. I might even show some footage of both their respective, big fights. The Warrington knockout. I might show at the start of the video, the Warrington knockout, the Mick Conlan knockout, which was incredible, which was just an incredible knockout, and some of the stuff that Kakache is doing. And, he will have the Belfast fans cheering. It's going to be electric. Ade is back presenting. We did Ade and G-Man, and we talked about, he went out after we did Ade and G-Man last night, and I was like, man, it is going to be, he knows as well. We were like, this is going to be a spectacle. And I wish I was there. I'm not there, unfortunately. I'm back in London, but man, it's going to be a spectacle this weekend. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the video. I won't be doing a watch along. I will do a review of it, of course. I'll be watching it, here in my flat, but probably, I might do a watch. It depends. It depends what time I'm free at. I might do a watch along because I've got a big monitor here now that I recently got. So I've got I could really good view of the fight now on this monitor. So I could watch it live on there. I could stream it. StreamYard with my iPhone. Alright, let's watch the space. I might do a watch along. We might do a watch along. But for now, I hope you enjoyed the video. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. Peace.